There are so many social media platforms to choose from that most business owners focus their time and attention on one or two. When deciding which sites are best to brand and market your business, you can't forget the visually engaging pins and boards found on Pinterest. There's a few standout ways in which Pinterest varies from other social media sites. While you can follow users and they can follow you, it's not about friends and followers. Instead, it's about generating instant access to engaging visual imagery and informative pins regarding any and every area of interest. These pins can be added to a user's personal boards for future reference. Anyone can access any other user's pins by the category or keywords related to the pin. While each pin can have a bit of text or even a URL, the goal here is not the "here's where I am and what I'm doing" topic of most social media platforms. Instead, a relevant comment regarding the post and what it represents is standard. Most importantly, unlike Facebook and Twitter where your post's peak engagement is rarely more than 5 days or a few hours, pins can continue to show up in search results indefinitely. Now, if you're inclined to stick with the major players like Facebook and Twitter, don't write off Pinterest until you take a closer look at the stats. First off, let's talk about the sheer size of your potential audience. Pinterest boasts an insane 150 million active users. Yeah, you heard that right. 70 million of those are in the US, with 80 million outside the US. As can be expected, Pinterest activity is proportionately astronomical. There are over 75 billion pins, which have been posted to over 1 billion public and private user boards. Over 2 billion shopping pins are posted daily. 87% of users make purchases after seeing products or services on Pinterest, and 93% use it with an eventual purchase, online or offline, as their primary goal, which makes Pinterest a no-brainer platform for those seeking to sell goods and services to a shopping-minded audience. And 72% of users make offline purchasing decisions based on Pinterest content. So it's not just a goldmine for online businesses. The average Pinterest user session is just over 14 minutes, which is very impressive when you compare that to most other social media platforms. 14 million rich pin articles are posted every day, and a whopping 5% of all web traffic comes from Pinterest. 80% of Pinterest users access the site from a mobile device, so mobile marketing and mobile-friendly content is very important here. And 2 out of 3 pins are posted by businesses or brands, so you've got some competition, which is actually a very good indicator for how profitable Pinterest can be. Oh, and if you happen to be in the culinary niche, guess what? There are over 1.7 billion recipes on Pinterest. As for your audience makeup, 81% of Pinterest users are women, so the Pinterest is for girls stereotype clearly has some truth to it, at least from a market research perspective. But don't worry, if your target audience is males, the percentage of males on the site is increasing rapidly, making up about 40% of new users recently. In case you were wondering, the most popular categories for these new male Pinterest users are technology, food, and drink. Big surprise, right? As for age, millennials are using Pinterest just as much as Instagram. The median age of users is 40 years old, but the most active pinners are under the age of 40. So now that we've established why you should definitely be marketing on Pinterest, let's talk about some Pinterest goals. First, let's talk about setting up your Pinterest profile. Pinterest profiles are short and sweet, but don't underestimate the importance of a quality profile. Ideally, your Pinterest account should be your business name, if it's not already taken. If already taken, get as close as possible. Or if your business is one that doesn't seem pin-conducive, like a bank or a credit union, create a business Pinterest page for an adjacent topic. Using a bank as an example, you could create a page that focuses on shameless money-saving tips. Add a clean and clear profile image. In most cases, your business logo is appropriate. However, if your logo doesn't fit well, have it redesigned to fit, or substitute it with a best-selling product or even your founder or CEO's headshot. Be sure to add your website homepage URL so that anyone who finds their way to your profile page can easily be redirected. Fill out your location, where you're based, or your service area. Fill out a short and engaging About Me section, letting visitors know what makes your brand unique. Next, let's talk about creating a Pinterest strategy. As with all methods of online or offline marketing, you must have a strategy in place. Since each social media site is unique, your strategy also must be unique to Pinterest. In other words, you can't just pre-schedule the exact same posts to Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, and Twitter. That's not to say that there can't be some overlap, but each site is utilized for different purposes, so your content and strategy must reflect your purpose. Your first step will be to set some clear, specific, and measurable goals, as we discussed earlier. To begin with, you need to build your foundation. This means investing in creating an organized and relevant category of boards for both your shared pins and your original pins. Then you need to begin posting regularly to build your followers and number of pins. Once you have a foundation, continue posting at least 3 to 5 times a week with the goal of getting your website traffic from Pinterest at or above the average of 5%. To determine the percentage of those who transfer from Pinterest to your website, landing page, or linked URL, you should set up Google Analytics. You can also use your preferred analytics software or view the analytics provided by Pinterest. Your page must be set up as a business account to view Pinterest analytics. What you're looking for is which pins do the best so that you can create similar yet unique pins. Let's talk about setting up rich pins. Rich pins simply mean that you can provide in-depth context about your pin. There are currently 4 rich pin options: app, product, recipe, and article. For example, a product-rich pin could automate the current price featured on your website and might let the customer know if the product is in stock. You need to apply for rich pins, which is fast, and approval is easy. Pinterest really just needs to verify that you're legitimate and that you have the basic metadata requirements. Next, there's promoted pins. The focus of this marketing guide is to help you design an organic Pinterest marketing plan, but we do want to make sure you're aware of all of your options. If you want to hyper-target your demographic, you can invest in paid promoted pins. Promoted pins increase engagement by 2 to 5% and drive more targeted traffic directly to your website or sales funnel or opt-in page. Your pay-per-click promoted pins offer advanced analytics and tips on what similar competitors are bidding on and which products are currently trending. The primary benefit of Pinterest paid advertising is that the cost per click is much lower than Google PPC. In most cases, you can bid under 50 cents per click and generate impressive conversions. Selecting your keywords is also far more intuitive. Now that we've talked a little bit about getting started on Pinterest, let's move on to Pinterest content ideas and best practices.